So now we're in the era of content. Everyone wants to create content. Everyone wants to travel. Everyone wants to work with the big brands. But a common question that I always get is how? How do you attract big brands? How do you work with big brands? How do you work with brands, period? And one thing that I've always realized was you have to go out of your way if you want it to be your way. That's the only way. And what I mean by that is going out of your way is you do more to attract the type of client that you want. If you want to work with Nike, do a shoot that looks similar to something that Nike would do. If you want to do an Adidas shoot, do something that would be similar to what Adidas would do. If you want to work with Vans or you want to work with Puma, or it doesn't matter. Any brand that you want to work with, all you have to do is create content that's similar to that brand long enough until you attract the right people, the decision makers of that brand that might reach out to you. Now, obviously, there's more that goes into it than just that. Prime example, Corona, probably one of the biggest brands in the world, probably the biggest beer company in the world. And I had the opportunity to film with them to do a documentary on a Black Colombian surfer. Now, how that actually came about was because I decided to invest my own time, my own resources, my own energy into crafting a compelling story. Now, when we did decide to do that, I invested my own money. We flew down to Colombia, we met the surfer, we filmed with him. We actually went to a couple different cities within Colombia, paid for everything, paid for his food because he didn't have the funds to pay for those things. And we figured, hey, if we're filming you, you're the main character, you deserve to get paid, you deserve to get compensated, or at least the food and hotels and all the travel. We wanted to do something that was for us. I had been working with different brands, getting paid to do work with brands, different corporate companies, and that's great, but it wasn't fulfilling. What was fulfilling for me was doing a project that came out of my own heart, something that I wanted to do, and that was this documentary. So Corona wasn't even involved at first. This was just like, yo, let's put out a documentary that we can submit to a film festival that's us, that has our name on it. And I think that was probably one of the greatest investments I've ever made, investing in myself once again. Maybe it doesn't seem like investing in myself, but it's investing in my own product, my own vision. I didn't wait for a brand to reach out to me and say, hey, Cam, we have a 5K budget. We need you to film this, this, and this. These are the shots we need. That's not what happened. I took it upon myself to go and film what I wanted to film. Now, once everything, now here's the kicker. When you film something that's for you, you need to realize there's different forms and different ways to distribute what you're doing. Once you have the footage, that's the hardest part, is getting the footage. Once you have the footage, you need to figure out how to package it and distribute it. So what we did was we created a 1 to 2 minute trailer. So that trailer encompassed interviews, it encompassed great B-roll footage that we got in, it encompassed voiceover. It was all in Spanish, so we had to put English subtitles, which also makes it a little bit more professional. So once we had the trailer created, now it was all about getting it in front of the right audience, in front of the right eyes. So we shared the trailer. The trailer got a lot of attention, people loved it, we shared it on Instagram, and one of my friend that I was filming with, his mom had a contact within Corona. They saw the trailer, they loved it, and they wanted to meet with us. So we got on a Zoom call, we spoke about our vision, why we created this. They loved it. It fit their brand guidelines. And that brings me back to the first point that I made. Create content that's similar to the style of the brand that you want to attract. If it's a running brand, you know you're gonna have to create something running, cinematic, with some voiceover. If it's Corona, which is surf, beach, friends, party vibes, you need to create something that's along those lines. It doesn't matter what you're creating, as long as it falls under the same genre category of the brand that you're trying to attract. Because that shows the brand like, hey, these guys know what they're doing, first and foremost. Second, they understand our ethos. They understand our vision, the vibe that we're going for as a company. So you're already bypassing the whole aspect of a brand vetting you out, thinking like, hey, are these the right guys for the project? Like, no, they are the right guys for the project because they just did a project similar for free with their own money. So that already clicks in the mind of your client, is like, okay, these guys took it upon themselves. They were proactive. So it just kind of gives you that leeway and that leverage to ask for what you want. So boom, we have the trailer. Now, on top of the trailer, we needed to create a presentation. So once we created the trailer, we had the presentation that had the budget outlined, what we needed, what we had already invested. So once we had all those things, it was really just like yes or no. And they gave us the green light. So with the new budget that they gave us, which was a $15,000 budget, we were able to go to El Salvador, which was the World Surf Competition. So we got to bring our subject to El Salvador. We paid for his flights. That experience was not only was amazing, but we were able to put and include some of that footage within the documentary. And we made it more of a narrative. So like this surfer is from Cartagena, and he got a chance to go to El Salvador and watch the biggest surfers in the world for inspiration and motivation. And then we finish off with his competition in Colombia. So all the money that we invested, Corona gave us money that basically paid ourselves back for what we had invested. So at the end of the day, you have to realize it's a give and take. Do a little bit more to receive a little bit more. That way you can reach your goal. It's the same with the gym. You might have to do an extra set or an extra workout just to reach that maximum set that's gonna help your muscles grow to that next level. You have to go out of your way. That's the key at the end of the day, because it's so saturated, the market is so saturated. So you have to think, if there's 50 other people, if there's 100 other people trying to do the same thing as you, what's gonna make you stand out? You need to go the extra mile. Book that flight, film that footage, capture those interviews, because if you just put together a great presentation, that's great. But if you have a trailer, if you have footage that you've already shot, it puts you a step ahead. So my advice for anyone that's trying to work with big brands, go out of your way. Film content, edit content that's similar to what the brand that you're trying to attract would put out. That way you have, one, eyes on you. Two, the brand understands that you have the eye and the vision for what they're looking for, and you're proactive. You never know what other opportunities can manifest from just doing your own creative project. Don't wait for a client to reach out to you. Don't wait for those things. Be proactive. Do what you need to do. The best investment is investing in yourself. And it took me a little while to understand what that meant, like investing in yourself. That doesn't just mean like going to the gym and writing your goals down and eating healthy. That's a part of it. But whatever funds and money you have, use that money to create something that's for you, but it's along the guidelines of maybe a brand that you want to work with. That shows proactivity, that shows dedication, that shows passion, that shows someone outside looking in that, hey, this is someone that I could see myself working with. They already get the vision. Keep that in mind, stay focused, stay locked in, go out of your way, invest in yourself. It's the best thing you can do, and it's the most fulfilling thing you can do. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm gonna be dropping more content like this. If you have any questions, let me know. And just be great. Let's get it.